Have you ever stopped to critically think just how cartoonishly unrealistic it actually is that virtually all information that black people receives about ourselves from the white society are consistently negative and black racially demoralizing? It's actually a hidden nefarious social science tactic that's being used to subdue unified black protests. In 1968, white social scientists were hired by the Kerner Commission to study the African American population, to learn the reason for that decade's unprecedented unified black protests against the white establishment. They determined that there were two aggravating factors for it. The two core factors. The first was the elevated and unifying black collective self-esteem brought on by the emergence of that decade's black pride movement. The second thing they learned is that whenever people are oppressed for long durations, their collective aggressions towards their oppressors will continue to grow until acts of massive unified black rebellion becomes inevitable. The oppressed always eventually rebels. It's the inherent response within the collective human psyche whenever people are held under long-term oppression. These factors were determined as being the two aggravating core factors for the unprecedented unified black protest during the 1960s. White social scientists therefore determined that by hiring white propagandists to perpetually keep the black population believing the fraudulent worst possible narratives about ourselves, they could lower our collective self-esteem, demoralize us, divide us, and shift black collective aggressions away from the white oppressive society and redirect it against ourselves, thus profoundly subduing unified black protests. It is the true reason why all narratives that black people receives about ourselves from the white society are consistently negative and black racially demoralizing. It also creates black self-hatred and disunity, which attacks the core foundation of what bonds us as a people, and we can then be ruled over forever. It's a nefarious social science psychological warfare tactic that utilizes the immense power that shame has upon the human mind to mentally enslave millions of black people. Those black people who do not critically think never notices their mental change. This social science tactic has been extremely effective at subduing unified black protests. Black people are the unknowing victims of many nefarious social sciences that are being deployed systematically and unrelentingly by white oppressive forces. Case, point, and proof. Here's the true hidden social science reason why black students are denied most black racially affirming facts throughout our entire educational development. The white educational system's failure to adequately provide black students with a racially affirming curriculum, as it so routinely does so for white students, is actually a hidden social science tactic that is essential for maintaining white social dominance over the black population. Because for a ruling class to maintain its position of social dominance over its subordinate population, the oppressed, they must condition the oppressed from a very early age to accept our subordinate status and to adhere to the authority of the dominant society. To do so, the education given to the oppressed population from the time that our minds are young and most impressionable must be the type that denies us of a racially affirming curriculum. When the oppressed population is denied of a racially affirming education, this psychologically conditions the oppressed to perceive themselves through a false inherent subordinate identity that makes them more accepting of their subordinate status within the society dominated by their oppressors. When the oppressed population is denied of a racially affirming education, even the brightest among them may have difficulty in mentally extracting themselves from their assigned low dominated position in life. This social science is essential for maintaining white social dominance over the black population. It's the true reason why black people learn more racially affirming facts from each other than we do so within our white governed schools. White oppressive forces also uses hidden social sciences to negatively steer the black culture. Case, point, and proof. Here's the true reason why millions of African Americans now self-identify by the N-word. White oppressive forces achieved this feat by hiring black actors, beginning during the 1960s black exploitation films, to call themselves by the N-word. In doing so, millions of African American movie viewers began imitating the ridiculous behavior what they saw on the screen, and then began insisting that we made the N-word although we in fact did not. The behavior is the direct result of the hidden social science called negative media social engineering. This same negative media social engineering tactic is by white oppressive forces. It's also the reason why millions of African Americans now calls themselves thugs, sags their pants, glorifies pimps, and routinely call our women B's and H's. This isn't scapegoating, it's the absolute truth. This social science is all possible because a group's identity is shaped by how they see themselves repeatedly depicted within the media. People often become those derogatory media depictions of their group that they've accepted as being their reality. Therefore, those who controls the people's media images and writes their narratives controls their culture. Because white oppressive forces controls our media images and writes our narratives, they negatively steer our culture while misleading us to believe that we're negatively steering ourselves. By utilizing social sciences for continuing their subjugation of black people, white oppressive forces have developed methods for subjugating black people that are not as easily recognized nor as easily comprehended by most of their black victims. The subjugation of black people always works best when the black victims no longer recognizes how it works. Because this allows the white society to continue subjugating black people without any black resistance. Using these hidden social sciences provides white oppressive forces with methods of subjugating black people that are much better suited for the modern times. For unlike the blatant racist systems that black people were easily able to identify and therefore develop counter strategies against, this current social science system is not easily recognized nor is easily comprehended by most of its black victims. Therefore, it prevails. While black people studied our Bibles, insisting that it contains the true words of God that will protect us, white oppressive forces instead studied and developed hidden social sciences for manipulating the collective minds of the masses and of targeted populations. They then used that gained knowledge to deploy many hidden social sciences for maintaining their social dominance and control over the black population.